Hi everyone. Today we have a very interesting video to do because we are going to be covering The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. I recently read The Talisman alongside the Dark Tower series. I haven't finished the Dark Tower series yet, but basically I've heard a lot of people say that The Talisman is a good one to read alongside that series because of the Dark Tower connections within the book. So that's why I read it recently. I mean, I was going to read it anyway, but I read it so recently. That's why. And I kind of need to get a few things off of my chest if, like, that hasn't been apparent from like my attitude so far. So this book, as you can see, two authors, Stephen King, Peter Straub, and they wrote it together in 1984. They wrote the beginning and the ending together, and then they filled in the middle, taking turns on it, each trying to replicate each other's style. The book follows a 12-year-old little shit named Jack I shouldn't say that. It's mean. The book follows a 12-year-old boy named Jack Sawyer, who is on a big epic quest to find the talisman, the only thing that can save his dying mother. And his mum's sick, and Jack goes on a quest through the parallel world known as the Territories, hopping in and out of this world, and it just follows him traveling across America to find the mysterious talisman and bring it back, and all his adventures along the way. So it's a fantasy adventure novel, which is dumb because Stephen King and Peter Straub were two of the biggest horror authors at the time, and when they come together to write a book together, people are like, oh, it's going to be really scary. But no, they vomited this 1,000-page fantasy piece of shit, and it's a piece of shit, and I don't like it. So this book, as you can see, it's too fucking long. Look at this fucking term. It's massive. And like it's obviously too long, and I cannot like express how boring this book is too. For its length, you'd think that things would actually happen, but barely anything happens. And oh man, it is just a shocker. It is a shocker of a book. Like it's an awful excuse for a fucking book. This is so bloated. Legitimately, this plot is in no hurry. There is a 100-page section where he is working at a pub, pouring drinks, cleaning the floor, cleaning the toilets, repeat. Oh my god, it is painful. And like, I never thought that that section of the book was going to end. And when I say 100 pages, I'm not exaggerating. Seriously, this is a 1,000-page book, and he is there working at this pub for such a long time. There's also this other section around the middle of the book that lasts for about 150 pages at the Sunlight Gardener home, and I don't care. And it's not just the pub section either. There's a part in this where Jack is just like at the movies. There's another part when he gets taken to the Sunlight Gardener home, which by itself isn't shocking writing, but it's just so interruptive to the story, and it makes no fucking difference. It goes on for about 150 pages, that section, and it's predictable as to what's going to happen because it happens halfway through the book. There's only like, one outcome that can happen, so you're just waiting for the inevitable, but it feels like it's never going to come. And it's really boring. The characters in this book are terrible. Just plain horrible. I don't care about them one single bit. I never felt any peril for them. I never thought, even like when like some of the shit was supposed to be going down, I never thought, oh no, what if one of them dies? Because I just did not care. And the way this book was written was so weird. There's probably like 4 or 5 action sequences in the whole book, and I'm not exaggerating when I say that. There is like nothing happens in this book. In the 1,000 pages, there's probably like 4 30-40 page chunks of action, and most of those chunks of action are written in a way that it feels as though the story is being recounted to you, and as though you're not actually there. So you can't really get a good grasp of what's going on. It's like you're listening to someone tell you what's happening instead of actually feeling immersed in the world. You're thinking, oh shit, what if something happens to these characters? There is one action sequence at the Sunlight Home, which I think is well done. I like that particular section. I can tell that Stephen King wrote it. Like, it just feels so Stephen King, and it was a breath of fresh air when that happened. But all the other ones, I think, were written by Peter Straub, because I was just thinking, there's no way in hell Stephen King wrote this. Not a chance in hell that Stephen King wrote this part of the book. And it just put me to sleep whenever something happened. And I've said this multiple times, I never felt peril for the characters. And even if I did fear, like, you know, their fate, I was thinking, oh god, what if one of them dies? It wouldn't have mattered at all, because they're all annoying twats. And yeah, going back to the characters, you got Jack, who is just an annoying little prick. I mean, like, you know, he's bearable, but like, he does some things when I'm just like, no, you're annoying me, stop it, I don't like it. Then you have Richard Sloat. That little cunt. I don't want to talk about him, okay? And Jack fucking condones Richard's behaviours, his stupid little whiny little shit. And Jack's like, oh, it's okay. No, everything's going to be fine. And Richard's just whinging and complaining about everything. And it made me fucking angry. I hate Richard so much. He's like, fuck him. Fuck that stupid glasses little twat. I hate that. And then you've got Speedy Parker, who won't stop singing this stupid song, and I want to fucking push him over, and he's annoying, and I don't like him, and I don't fucking care about him. Fuck off. And then who else do we fucking have in this book? I can't even remember half the fucking characters. Jesus fucking Christ. Okay, we have Jack's mum. She's fine, but she's just a fucking typical mum. I did not give a flying fuck if she lived or died. You have Sunlight Gardener, who in himself is a fine villain, but he has no fucking place in this story. And he takes up such a long time when they're just trapped there and you're waiting for something fucking interesting to happen and it never does. And he makes me mad. And then you have Morgan Sloat. Morgan Sloat. First off, who the fuck is named Morgan Sloat? Anyway, he's the villain, and he is cartoonish, he is pathetic, he is hopeless, he is never once threatening. I did not give a flying fuck. Whenever he showed up, I just did not even register that, oh my god, these main characters are maybe gonna die, because I don't fucking care about them anyway. They make me angry. I was hoping that Morgan had killed them, but he's so fucking incompetent as a villain that he couldn't even get within a fucking 10 miles of them. So everything was super easy for the characters that I didn't like and I just wanted to die. Shit. I will say though, there is one thing, the one fucking thing that I liked about this book. The one thing that pulled me through this piece of shit was Wolf. Wolf was cool. I liked Wolf. But the problem is that he only had about 200 pages of, like, you know, time devoted to him actually being there. Out of this whole book, Wolf was only there for, like, I don't know, this much. And then they decide he just kind of shows up and then just fucks off. And then they decide to focus on Jack and Richard and fucking Morgan instead. Like, it's just decisions like that where I'm like, why the fuck? Why the fucking fuck did you not focus on Wolf more, the one and only character I actually gave a shit about? Oh man. Jesus Christ. The world building in this book was atrocious. When I first heard the concept and I heard that there's like, you know, a parallel world called the Territories that is like, you know, just ours but different, I thought, man, that's so cool. And the concept of twinners was awesome as well. I thought, wow, this is just awesome. This is when I read the fucking blurb, by the way. Not anything. I never said that this book was awesome once when reading this. There is just no world building. I reckon this is the first time Jack flips over to the Territories. There's like, you know, 4 or 5 sentences worth of describing what it looks like. And that's it for the whole book. Like, that they just expect you to know and understand every nook and cranny of this world without even explaining it to you, basically. It doesn't work. I never felt like I was there. I did not care about anyone in the Territories. I did not care about the Twinners concept. And I never felt like, you know, I was in this magical world that I thought this book was going to contain. After reading, like, you know, the first couple of books of the Dark Tower series, I was like, wow, I wonder if it's like, you know, going to be the same kind of magical world that Midworld is. It's not. And actually, speaking of the Dark Tower, the connections make no sense. Because, alright, I'm going to put a spoiler alert up for this little part. I haven't read Black House, but spoil, because I don't know if that changes anything. But yeah, spoiler alert, if you haven't read this piece of shit, skip this section of the video, or don't, because, like, don't read this book in general. The Blasted Lands section was literally the Wastelands from the Wastelands, which makes no sense to me because the Territories is supposed to be a mirror of our world, but Midworld isn't a mirror of our world. And if they're in the Wastelands in this book, where Midworld is supposed to be like a fucking mirror of our world, when it's very clearly established in the Dark Tower series that it's not, that makes no fucking sense. They're both crossing over. They're like both coming over, and then it's just like, woof, it doesn't make sense. And please, for the love of fucking God, don't use the excuse there are other worlds than these to describe this idiocy. Why the fuck was another author used to create a pseudo Dark Tower book in the first place? You didn't even have to link it up to the fucking Dark Tower series. Instead, you just created a fucking plot hole by doing that. It's dumb. I don't like it. Anyway, this was a really lifeless book. I didn't care about any of the characters except for Wolf, and even then, his section of the book was extremely brief. I didn't like how this book just meandered on every fucking thing. Like, Jack sees one person, you know that you're fucking spending the next eternity with them, even though nothing's going to happen. When the action did happen, it legitimately just put me to sleep. I didn't care for it. I didn't care for the ending of this book, because it was extremely predictable. Like, from the concept, I knew what was going to happen. I'm trying to avoid spoilers here, but nothing about the ending shocked me. Nothing about it was cool. Nothing about it was interesting. I'm super surprised that this book was as dull as it is, with the concept of flipping between worlds in an epic journey. I don't like this book. I'll probably never read it again. I know that other people have different opinions than me, but I do not understand how, in the name of fuck, this has a 4.13 on Goodreads, with most people giving it 5 stars. Like, I don't get it. How do you like these characters? They're fucking annoying. Like, feel free to tell me in the comments why you like this piece of shit, if you do. How do you like these annoying characters? How do you care about them? How do you give a fuck about the world building in the Territories if, like, you know, you don't even get to experience it? How do you give a shit about the overall story when the ending is as predictable and as inevitable as it is? It's not spectacular like it's made out to be. It's not well written. And honest to God, I know a lot of people are like, oh yeah, I think it's more Peter Straub. No, fucking both of them were terrible. I'm not letting either of them off the hook. This book sucked shit every fucking way. Upside down, inside out, right side up, left side down. I'm sorry, this book was terrible. I rage quit this for a few weeks. I went for several weeks without even touching this book because I just couldn't do it anymore. And when I finally picked it back up, I did not care. I wanted to get it done. This is by far my least favourite Stephen King book I have ever read. Guys, I'm sorry for ranting so much, but I needed to get it off my chest. If you don't like this book, then I hope you got a kick out of this video knowing that someone dislikes it as much as you do. As I said, the only thing that I liked about this book was Wolf. And I know I said that I thought that the Sunlight Gardener section was fine, which it is on its own, but in the context of this story, I didn't care about it. And yes, it contained one good action sequence, but it's such a short sequence in such a massive tome of a book that it makes no impact. It doesn't make me like the book anymore. The Talisman gets 1 star. And as I said, the only reason it doesn't get 0.5 stars or a 1 out of 10 rating is because I do like Wolf. There is one thing that I can say positive about this book. I hate this book. I hated it so much. I was surprised by how much I hated it. I knew a lot of people didn't love it, but I knew that, people really liked it. I thought it was going to be some kind of really fantastical, magical journey that was just going to suck me into other worlds, but it didn't. And I hate this book. I want to fucking burn it. I want it to be just deleted from existence because it makes me really, really, really angry. Anyway, thanks for watching this review on The Talisman. I don't really want to call it a review. I think it's more of a rant, but that's okay because, this book's a piece of shit. Fuck off. And I think that I will see you all later. Bye.